Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is the
Dr. Doreen is an expert in autism. Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet.
Dr. Doreen Grand-Pichet is a visionary in the field of autism. Now you can ask her questions on Ask Dr. Doreen. Now the next question, and then we're going to go to break. Somebody wrote in and said, "Hi Shannon, are you still doing ABA with Jem?" Now I think the question that you're asking is, are we still doing intensive ABA and having therapists, taking him to a center and having therapists come to our home? And no, we don't do that and haven't. It is now a longer period of time that we haven't than when we did, by far.
Yeah.
We did 5 years of intensive ABA, although the last year I certainly wasn't intensive. It was, I think, 8 hours a week.
Yeah.
That's not intensive. And it has been 8 years since he's had a therapist. So in that sense, no. But do we use ABA every single day? And does he use it on me? And do I use it on coworkers? Absolutely. Because once you learn, this is much more effective to get the desired response, then you find yourself applying it to all kinds. Honestly, I use ABA more with my husband than I do with my son. And my son uses it on me more than I use it on him.
Well, I love times when he would come to you and say something like, "I really think you need to take a deep breath and calm down," or something.
He teaches me self-regulation all the time. The one example that always floors me, we went out on a Saturday and we wanted to get a couple of things done, but you know how it is. And then you end up staying out too long and it's, this store is right next. Let's not go to lunch now because this store is right next to, and so then it ended up being quarter to 2 and we're coming home and we got to get all these things that we purchased plus food in the house and nobody has eaten and everybody's crabby and we're all at each other. And my son said, "Hey, I think we just need to pause for a second. I think everybody's overtired, overheated. Nobody's had anything to eat. Before anybody says anything that will, be forever in this space, let's all pause, take a moment for ourselves.
I love that.
Let's eat. If anybody needs to use the restroom or just relax for a minute, and then can we talk about this?" And he was 12 maybe when he said this, and I turned and I looked at him and then I looked at my husband and I said, "Who is he? He's certainly not our child, but he's your child. He's the child of all these therapists," because he puts things in those contexts. And he will say to me if I'm getting upset about something, he's so funny, because he will say to me, "Is this something that's just being upset about in the moment, or is this something that's going to have an afterlife? Is this something you're going to care about in 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years? In 5 years, are we still going to talk about this? I just want to get a feel for where on the scale is this."
I love that. Oh my God, what an amazing perspective.
Look what a great job you did.
No, but
because
honestly,
it sure
Shannon,
wasn't me.
What an incredible idea to ask whoever when they're upset, to ask them, by the way, is this a short term?
Right.
Or a long term?
Right.
That's amazing.
Amazing. And the other time that I really remember was we went to Disneyland with a friend that has a lot of neurotypical kids. And I always used to look longingly and go, how does she get a bunch of neurotypical kids and I get one kid and they're on the spectrum? How does that work? How did that happen?
Yeah.
What lottery did I lose there, right? But they were probably 8 at the time, and her kids were around that age too, and we were at Disneyland. And when you come in the gate, they tell you which rides are closed for refurbishment.
Yeah.
And one of the rides was closed for refurbishment, and the neurotypical 8-year-old had a meltdown. I can still picture where at Disneyland we were, and he completely melted down to the ground. And Jem stood there with this look on his face, and he looked at me and he pulled me over to the side. He goes, "What's he freaking out about? Doesn't he know that there'll be another time and he can go on at another time? Doesn't he understand it's not the end of the world?" And I was like, "No, baby, he doesn't." And I kind of just sort of petted him and I was like, sometimes the universe shows you that you're right where you need to be when you need to be, and that everything that everybody else has isn't necessarily what you thought it was, right?
Absolutely.
So anyway, so to answer your question, we use the principles of ABA whenever I can potentially remember them. And I wish it was more, because when we do, I'm happier.
So true.
And you know what they say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So
true.
But he uses it. I watch him use it with his friends. I use it, and if my husband is watching right now, yes, honey, I do use ABA on you. So there we go. And I think he prefers it when I do.
I'm guessing he does too.
Because his life is better when I just crab at him. That's not good.
That's also true.
But
it's fair. ABA makes life very fair. Positive.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
No
So
question.
I encourage you to apply it wherever you can. I think that's what the applied behavior analysis implies.
Right.
Apply it whenever you can. All right, we're going to take a short break and come back. We're going to have time, I think, for one more question. Stick with us.